All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a whole swath of news stuff for you, but the main topic for today is the redesign of the Tron website just 15 days before its mainnet release. So now the redesign of the website is not particularly important, but really the 15 days till its mainnet release. So Tron's website was remodeled just 15 days before its mainnet release. Its website no longer looks as simple as it did, rejuvenating it and giving investors the message that the project is approaching a new stage. So currently, the redesigned website of Tron was launched with the main focus on project progress and real-time issuance. On the one hand, timeliness gets optimized on the basis of strengthening practicality. On the other hand, Tron market performance was added so that viewers could see the global rank and latest news on Tron, perceiving Tron in a bigger picture. In addition, the redesigned website offers a more user-friendly portal with improved color plan, content structure, and reading experience, the foundation said in an announcement. So the countdown now takes center stage on the front page. Below the menu showing how many days are left until the mainnet release, which is 14 days. Below is some material introducing new investors to the crypto market, and then a map of all the nodes of the Tron network. Currently there are 72 online nodes tracking a blockchain with 176,000 blocks at 1,165 transactions per hour. In the market performance section below that features publicly available information about Tron and its rank among cryptocurrencies, as well as how many people hold the cryptocurrency labeled hodlers in jest. So the fact that Tron is moving away from the Ethereum blockchain just might provide some relief to the community, as the rivalry between Vitalik Buterin and Justin Sun hasn't settled. So at one point, Sun asserted that Tron is superior to Ethereum because it's chain structure, but Buterin shot back by pointing out to the fact that some of the foundation's white paper was copied from other material. So as Tron moves away from the Ethereum blockchain, the cryptocurrency will have time to prove itself against the likes of Ether as each vies for the top spot. So what's really important about this? So a restructuring of website is not that great. However, with the mainnet release today in 14 days, so currently they operate with the Ethereum, but they're just going to go away with that. They're going to operate on their own mainnet. Tron has been going up lately quite a bit, so it might be a good time to pick up some Tron and ride the hype wave till the mainnet release, and so which is I think on like the 30th. So when that occurs, I believe we'll probably at a pretty good price, at least more than we are now. We're at like 7.1 cents at the moment. At an all-time high, we were much higher than that, but not that long ago, we were at nearly 9 cents. And so, it might be a good time to raise that hype wave and ride it until that date, and then just sort of evaluate on that date whether to continue holding or just sell then. So if we're at 7 cents now and it goes to like 9 or 10 cents, and if it goes to 10 cents, let's just say, by the time the mainnet launches, because of the hype coming in, and then the price starts going down, you can sell at 9.5 or just 9 cents, still make profit, and if the price continues to go up, just hold until then and just continue setting little amounts that you will sell once it actually falls to that. So if it goes to 11 cents, keep on holding. If it goes to 12 cents, keep on holding. Then if it goes down to 11.5 or 11, go ahead and sell it. Still quite a bit of profit. So in this one, it might be a good bet. So on to a next news madness. So Bitcoin core developer holds no punches, criticizing CoinDesk's consensus. So the CoinDesk consensus 2018 happened, and I watched some of it. Charlie Lee, among a number of individuals, were on stage at one point. And you know what, Charlie Lee, I like you. He's much more boisterous on Twitter than he is in real life. In real life, he's really soft-spoken and just kind of mumbles. And half the time, I was like, "What are you even talking about, Charlie Lee?" He's just like saying a bunch of. I wish I should have brought up a clip for you guys, but just check out the CoinDesk consensus 2018. It's all over YouTube at this point. So, in a lengthy number of tweets, Jonathan Corgan, a Bitcoin core developer, took aim at CoinDesk consensus. Pointing out the click-like environment it nurtured, he accused CoinDesk of running a club for all the popular kids to bash the geeks and nerds who develop Bitcoin. So the amount of fluff and cargo cult engineering is astounding. Unrestrained incantation of buzzwords and feel-good hype does not a successful business plan make. Unless, of course, the business plan is really just a means of separating clueless people from their money. He also said that there has been exactly one successful use case for blockchain technology, pointing out blockchain, not Bitcoin companies with a variety of motivations see Bitcoin's success and think the underlying blockchain data structure is the magic ingredient. The historical ledger secure from manipulation and censorship is indeed valuable, but only has been accomplished in Bitcoin by making it financially infeasible for anyone to attempt to deviate from the rules everyone else accepts. None of these other blockchain, not Bitcoin proposals attempting to replicate Bitcoin's success, but in some other application domain captures these dynamics. They merely invoke the twin magic words blockchain and decentralized instead, he said. Corgan also predicted that most of these blockchain, not Bitcoin companies would go bankrupt or make their infrastructure reliant on Bitcoin within the next 5 years. His reasoning behind that is that blockchains are nothing more than expensive and slow databases, and because of their efficiency in processing data quickly, many companies will be frustrated with trying to decentralize their work. Not everyone agrees with this assessment, and the blockchains do not necessarily have to use proof-of-work algorithms to verify their blocks. Cadastral services, for example, doesn't require mining of property records, but then again, zero trust without proof-of-work is a very difficult thing to implement, and might not be as decentralized as many would hope. Proof of stake has been previously criticized as something that centralizes networks. Meanwhile, Corgan wasn't the only individual who criticized the 2018 event. Vitalik Buterin also spoke out against CoinDesk for its reporting policies for the conference, which he said are designed to trap you with gotchas. Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of what it was. I mean, it was a great talk. There was a lot of good stuff. It was many hours long, at least the video I watched, and there were numerous speakers, and they would go off the stage and new ones would come on. There wasn't too much out of it. I mostly watched when Charlie Lee was on because I like Charlie Lee, but I kind of think he failed. If you guys actually watch that video where Charlie Lee's talking, sometimes you're just like, Charlie Lee, dude, what are you even talking about? Or he's just saying like the most lame things possible, and just basically just saying like what everybody else knows that like attended this event. You're like, what are you talking? You have to see it. Wish I would have got some clips. Should get some clips. Maybe next video or something. Who knows? World's second largest search engine bans crypto ads. Uh-oh. I think you know where this is going. So Melissa Patheo of Microsoft's Bing search engine announced its advertising arm is banning all cryptocurrency advertisements. This follows market leaders such as Google, Facebook, and Twitter in either severely restricting crypto ads or banning them altogether. Oh no, not Bing. You guys ever see that Family Guy episode where the Bing car comes to town and drives through, and it's got those oblong wheels, and it's just like sort of moving along, and it's this really crappy car, and then there's just these sticks holding up a bunch of Polaroid cameras taking pictures all over the place? That's Bing in a complete nutshell. Please, after the video, go ahead and search that. Bing, Bing car, Family Guy, super funny. It just basically sums up Bing without even having to say anything other than Bing, because who uses Bing? Bing is like the search engine you use for the very first time when you reinstall and like on Internet Explorer, and then you switch it over to Google, or maybe you can get to Google. Like, no, you just open up Internet Explorer and then you just immediately go to Google. You basically Bing Google to get Google for the rest of your computer. It's complicated. So advertising policy manager Melissa Patheo posted an update to Microsoft's Bing search engine ad policy is the title of the company's rather obvious move. We are always evaluating our policies to ensure a safe and engaging experience for our Bing users. Who? What users? And the digital advertisement ecosystem. I mean, apparently by the word of the article, their second largest search engine. That's probably not particularly hard to achieve, considering like if Google was like a 10, and like all you had to do was make a search engine that was ranked at like 2 to be like second best, then that's not too hard to do, if you get what I'm saying there. Like Google is just on a totally different level. At this point, why even try to make a better search engine than Google? Maybe some of Google's policies you might not be a fan of, but like you have to recognize that it's clearly the best search engine. I mean, nobody's using Alta Vista or Ask Jeeves, So Bing is consistently ranked a very distant second behind the Google juggernaut, which gobbles up better than 60% of the search engine traffic on the internet. Google at the beginning of 2018 announced a far more specific series of cryptocurrency-related prohibitions, down to refining contracts for different products. It wasn't too much later when Facebook followed, as we reported at the end of January with a new ruling. Ads must not promote financial products and services that are frequently associated with misleading or deceptive promotional practices such as binary options, initial coin offerings, or cryptocurrency. So ads that promote financial products or services that are frequently associated with misleading or deceptive practices. So couldn't that be a lot of things? I know this is financial products and services, but I mean, most ads promote something that's totally deceptive, like, you know, oh, this face cleaner will clear up all of your pimples. No, it won't. None of them do. You know that. You know it won't. Or like anything, you know, like this diet program will make you lose 20 pounds. No, it will not. And you know it won't. There's only two ways to do that: exercise and diet, or a lot of drugs. And I know I'm really skinny. Mine's neither, technically, because my it all burns up. It all burns up too fast. I can't gain weight. It doesn't work. I could just sit here with cake all day, and then you'd come back 3 months later, and you're like, dude, you still weigh the same. I'm like, I know. What even happens? It just goes away. But I'm just saying, a lot of things are misleading and deceptive. Maybe if you just took like 4 seconds to like make, you know, to look at an ad, if it's an ad for Bitcoin or something like that, it's probably not too deceptive. I mean, just let's do a little research here. Get up off your heinies and do the work. So I don't even want to continue with the article. It's just more banning. And you know what? I'm not even too worried about that. Bing banning something. Who uses Bing? I want to know who uses Bing. I'm sure there's going to be some people in the comments who be like, I use Bing all the time. Well, you're a freak of nature. So if anybody remembered the Centra ICO, they are indicted in 60 million ICO fraud. So Centra, again, I should have brought up more tabs and showed you, but basically there were numerous actors, or no, there was Floyd Mayweather and there was DJ Khaled, so neither one really an actor, that both promoted this. And basically Centra Tech was making a coin, and at the same time they were saying that they were partnering with MasterCard, Visa, so that you could load your crypto on a MasterCard and then poof, there you go, and use it wherever you wanted. And then there was even a video with Floyd Mayweather holding up a Centra card, a Centra Visa or Master, whatever, like Visa card that said Centra on it, which was obviously fake. And he's like, when I go out, I like spending on my Centra card. And you're like, well, that card doesn't exist. It never existed. So you're holding up a fake card and you're saying fake stuff. You know, not to say that surprises me. Like I am a citizen of Earth, and I understand that like actors and celebrities sometimes say, hey, I use this butt cream all the time. And like, no, they don't use that butt cream. In fact, they have so many millions of dollars, they don't need to use butt cream. They just lay down flat on a table, and somebody smears a whole bunch of stuff on them, would probably butt cream, and then does it for them. They don't have to use no butt cream, trust me. A grand jury in the Southern District of New York has indicted the three co-founders of Centra Tech. The U.S. Attorney's Office of the district issued a press release on May 14th announcing the indictment. I know it's indictment. It's fun. We're having fun here. Sorhab Sharma, Raymond Trapani, and Robert Farkas, the three co-founders of Centra Tech, allegedly tried to defraud investors via a token sale. They were all arrested in 2018, charged with the same crimes. Commenting on the indictment, Deputy U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York said, as alleged, the defendants conspired to capitalize on investor interest in the burgeoning of the cryptocurrency market. They allegedly made false claims about their product and about the relationships they had with credible financial institutions. The indictment alleges that the three men solicited investors to purchase unregulated securities. Oh no, not those unregulated securities. The securities in the form of CTR digital currency tokens were sold in an illegal ICO. And I thought they were probably just like, yeah, look at the millions pour in, and oh no, there's a cop at the door. The Centra Tech founders also deceived investors into thinking the company had struck partnership deals with reputable corporations. Part of the ICO marketing narrative included purported collaborations with Visa, MasterCard, Bancorp, They also said Centra secured money transmitter license in 38 states. Sure you did. Under these pretenses, investors put up about 91,000 Ether tokens. Whoa! Currently valued at $60 million. Celebrities love that money. So, celebrities like the boxer Floyd Mayweather, rapper DJ Khaled also endorsed the project. The SEC soon discovered the Centra project to be a fraud, leading to the arrest of the co-founders. Oh no. So 2017 saw ICOs dominate the crypto space for much of the year, with numerous projects raising hundreds of millions of dollars. At the industry, virtually unregulated fraudulent schemes became the order of the day. In response, financial regulators have begun to adopt a more hands-on approach to monitoring and regulating the market. So, yeah, so they got what they deserved, $60 million from unsuspecting people, 91,000 putting their money down, hoping that they can get something back in the end. Another one falls. So another thing I wanted to talk about real quick before I move on to the other article is I really appreciate all the feedback I got yesterday about the volume of my microphone. So let me explain that just a little bit. My microphone was always on 100%, and I would get people pretty much every episode I would release. Somebody would say, "I can't hear it; it's too low." The thing is I put on my headphones, I listen to the video, I can hear it just fine. There's just fine. And then if I listen to it on my cell phone, I hear it just fine too. So I couldn't replicate that low volume. Now I did have another crappier older phone, before I upgraded with 2Ds. And that one was very, very low volume. So I can see that on some devices. So what I did basically is just boosted the decibel. It was just essentially like a decibel boost to the microphone, doubled it essentially, so from 1 to 2, and then I had the majority of people say, oh, the volume is really great now, because other YouTubers, the way they process their volume and things like that, it's much louder and very, very crisp and clear, and I understand that. So I upped that up, and then I had a lot of people saying, hey, it's a little too loud. So what I did is I just brought down my microphone volume by 5%, so it still has that double mic, it still has that decibel boost to it, but brought down just 5%. And hopefully that brings down that level. Because here's my thinking, and this is from a technical troubleshooting standpoint. So you have to sort of agree. I mean, I would assume that you would have to agree with this, is that it's better to be louder than it is to be too quiet. Because too quiet, people can't turn up their computer anymore. And then if it's too loud, all you have to do is go and turn down the volume. And then it's great. So hopefully it's a lot better for everybody now. So Venezuela leverages Russian bank stake to bypass the U.S. petro sanctions. So Venezuela's in a lot of trouble right now. Basically everybody weighs their money instead of counting the money, because that's how little their money is worth. So when you go to buy something, I was actually watching Last Week Tonight too, and that was just on a couple days ago, and it showed a woman buying a plantain that cost as much as her house did 25 years ago. So I don't know how much exactly that was, but it does sound like a lot. So like your house, just imagine your house 25 years ago. So I mean, anywhere in America, that could be anywhere from $50,000 to a couple $100,000 for a plantain. And also, that they were basically just weighing their money. They just gave up counting the money. They just weigh it now. So really, really bad. So they came out with the petro sanction, or the petro, so an ICO that's based on their oil, because Venezuela has the most oil in the world. They surpassed Saudi Arabia like 2010, and Maduro, they call it the Maduro diet. So everybody is just basically starving. It's just not a good situation. So they made the petro, and then the U.S. of course decides to put sanctions on that. Why? I don't know. As the Associated Press reported May 14th, Envro Finance Monsar Bank, intense, has become the only intentional partner willing to accept investments for purchasing Petro, which allegedly raised $5 billion during its ICO. The move reflects the continued involvement on Russia and the story of the Petro. Rumors previously circulated that specialists had played a key role in allowing the altcoin to reach the market. While the Venezuelan government owns 49% of Envro Finance Monsar Bank. Gee, it's going to be a bank after this, I promise, guys. The other 51% is split between two of the largest Russian state banks, a bank and VTB. So I'm assuming that's VT Bank, in my opinion. Venezuela acquired the shares in 2011. I got nothing when it comes to Russian. Sorry, guys. Now potential investors are able to gain exposure to Petro simply by depositing a minimum of €1,000, only a minimum, at a dedicated account held by Venezuela and Envro Finance Bank. So, speaking publicly about Russia's impetus for involving itself with Petro so closely, this really makes a lot of sense. You actually have to ask Russia while they're involving themselves in something like that. Are you kidding me? U.S. experts appear to see sanctions as key. Like kids on the playground, Venezuela and Russia think that they are fighting a common bully in U.S. sanctions. I kind of disagree with that one. So they're going to try and form a united front. All politics aside, they're kind of fighting sanctions. The latest news comes several weeks after it emerged Venezuelan authorities were pitched exchange options to India, hoping to bypass a lack of exposure brought about by the U.S. ban on investment for its citizens. As local exchange CoinSecure CEO Kalra said at the time, April discussions were underway to secure the Indian government a 30% on crude oil trades if it settled using the Petro, which is quite the deal, in my opinion. Federal Reserve President, people want the dollar and not the volatile crypto. You guys ready for this one? St. Louis Federal Reserve President, and he's the St. Louis Federal Reserve President. I mean, what is that, like 8th on the ranking or something? Come on. Get some more tenure in there. They'll get you out of St. Louis. They'll get you out of the flood zone. James Bullard was recently interviewed at this year's Consensus Conference in New York City. That a top U.S. economic policymaker was in attendance. His victory enough. However, he was asked his opinions on cryptocurrency going forward by CNBC Global Markets reporter. He explained he found the phenomenon interesting and how more crypto is being issued all the time necessitates keeping an eye on them. Mr. Bullard also compared the use for cryptocurrencies with that of the dollar and whether the former posed a threat to the latter. So here's the thing, right? In my opinion, I think most people are for the dollar. Whoa. Let's stop. Just for a second before you guys go like, what are you talking about? So with crypto, everybody's saying the price, right? Price. It's this much. It's this much. It's this much. It's $8,000. It's $10,000. So if you're associating your Bitcoin with the price of the U.S. dollar, why are you doing that, right? Here's the thing, because you want it to get to 20,000 so that you can sell it. You want it to get 30,000 or more so that you can sell it for dollars, and then you'd be able to buy a house or your Lambo or pay your bills or whatever, right? So everybody's looking for that. There are some people in this world, I've said this a 1,000 times on my channel. There are two types of people in crypto. There's the type A, and they are all about crypto. They want the world to switch over to crypto, because if the world all switched over to crypto, right, we just got rid of money. We threw it in an oven and we burned it all the money in the world. And we're just using Bitcoin, right? Well, that would create maybe some problems, maybe a little bit. But either way, let's just go with it. So now everybody's using Bitcoin. So now there's nothing to associate Bitcoin with except for maybe other altcoins. And then you would just say, hey, I get paid 0.01 Bitcoin an hour, or I get paid, per hour, right? Now I'm getting paid in Bitcoin. And at the end of the week, my paycheck is 0.3 Bitcoin or 0.1 Bitcoin, something like that, whatever. And you would lose that dollar aspect of it. Then you would go to the store with your Bitcoin. You're not concerned with how much Bitcoin is worth, because it's not worth anything if it's not against something else in that sense. So you're not going to the store and being like, well, man, I'm paying $5 worth of Bitcoin now, and this Bitcoin could be $10 tomorrow. That's not the case anymore. So now we're, and then there's type B who want crypto to make money, and I feel like I'm in that type B-ish. I really am bullish on crypto, and I feel that blockchain is the future, and I hope crypto explodes and continues for all time. But at the end of the day, I need to pay my bills, I need to buy my cars, I need to buy a house, mostly in US dollars. Now, yes, I've heard of people buying Lambos in Bitcoin, I've heard of people buying houses in Bitcoin, but overall, it's not really that easy, right? And you need to have all that Bitcoin anyway. So Federal Reserve President attends crypto conference. Oh my, Mr. Bullard, St. Louis flood zone Federal Reserve. So he's down on the list, but he's a pretty cool guy though. Federal Reserve President James Bullard gave a presentation at this year's giant Consensus Conference in New York City, Reread that sentence. A sitting Fed policymaker thought it important enough to attend a crypto soiree. That's news enough. But more importantly, President Bullard gave a presentation on the government's thinking about crypto. In his talk, he acknowledged crypto is facilitating trade that might otherwise not occur. He couldn't help by mentioning illegal activity. Illegal activity again. Can we just stop with that? I mean, like, more people buy drugs, this, that, or the other thing, rob banks, than they do crypto, period, at the moment. Maybe it'll get worse as crypto develops. I don't know. Maybe, like, statistically, I'd like to see it statistically, like, you know, because at the moment, statistically, less people use crypto. I mean, we all think that it's as big as it is, but really, it's not as big as we think it is, right? The market cap is like 400 and some odd billion, and we have Tron right here. The market cap is only 386 billion, so it's actually down right now, and that's just nothing. That's totally nothing compared to the rest of the world. And yeah, so the Fed policymaker reserved the bulk of his comments both in presentations during a post-game interview to talk about the problems in crypto as he sees them. So one issue is simply the number of currencies being offered. The 12th St. Louis Fed president feels this overcomplicates matters. I kind of do too. I kind of do feel like there's way too many cryptocurrencies. I feel that everybody should be able to make their own cryptocurrency and give it a shot. And I know that does kind of clash with my thought that there are too many currencies, but I still at the same time feel that everybody should have the right to do that if they want to. But right now, yeah, there's just so many currencies that the price is all over the place. If there were half of the currencies that are today, Bitcoin might be double in price in itself. We could still have the same market cap, but instead of the market cap being so distributed. But you have to understand, too, that the market cap shrinks vastly, enormously as you go down the list. This is top 50 coin here, basic BAT, and 405 million is the market cap. That's it. 405 million. I know that's it. That sounds ridiculous because 405 million is $405 billion. But you can see how vastly it goes down. Only the 26 coin has a billion market cap, and Eternity's very, very close. So is Ontology. So, even all these coins all combined, and if they were all put into Bitcoin in the top 30 or 20 coins or the billion market cap coins, it would make these prices soar for sure. So there's just so many coins that people are spreading out their wealth in. And, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but I kind of agree with that. So Fed coin on the horizon. Miss Modi pressed Mr. Bullard about his presence at the conference, asking if this was a hint to things to come with regard to a future coin birthed by the Fed, a Fed coin. Interestingly, he didn't dismiss the idea outwardly. Again, as I keep saying over and over on my channel, the Federal Reserve loves blockchain. They love blockchain. Ben Bernanke said that he loves blockchain but does not like Bitcoin. Yes, because they can't control Bitcoin, but they like blockchain because they can control that to a T. More control than you ever thought they could today. So, interestingly, he didn't dismiss the idea outwardly, and instead they said they'd for sure look at the possibilities the Fed does with many different types of financial innovations. He also assured that there wasn't any plan being hashed at the moment, no imminent Fed coin coming. Mr. Bullard also wondered aloud what the gains would be by creating such a coin. He smiled subtly, assuring he's keeping an open mind. When a Federal Reserve president smiles subtly and says, "I'll keep an open mind," it would be really bad. Once again, you've probably for users for you guys who tune into the channel all the time, you probably have already heard me say this. But here's why the Fed would really like blockchain. Now, I'm not an economist or anything. I did take a little bit of economics in college, but just a little bit, just to satisfy things. So mind my naivety on this. But the Federal Reserve at the moment, the only way to really track you, there's a number of ways to track you, but you go to a bank, you get a bank account. What do you give them? Everything, right? You give them your ID, your driver's license. You give them your social security card. Oftentimes, sometimes it's birth certificate, not always. Everything, your address, everything about you. And I'm surprised you don't actually have to do a finger prick and have them test your DNA too. Everything about you. So every transaction I make, if I was doing illegal activity, or even just activity that I didn't really want the government to know about, it is what it is. If they could just look at my bank and be like, call my bank and be like, hey, this is the Feds, you have to give up your information. And they could track every single purchase I've ever made. with crypto, they can't do that. It's much harder. I've heard that the NSA is looking at how to really look into the Bitcoin blockchain to find everybody on the blockchain. You know, whenever there's something arises that they need to check, but it's not very easy for them. With the Federal Reserve, if the Federal Reserve made a Fed coin, what you would do is you would walk into a bank to get a bank account, and when you give them all your information as usual, you give them your driver's license, social security number, whatever, everything. And then they would give you, instead of a like a bank account number that you have today or a routing number, it would be a private key or a public key. The bank would probably have the private key. Who knows how it would work? But you would get a public key, and it's like, okay, well, you give this to your employer, and then when you get paid, every time you get paid Fed coin to this public key, to your wallet. And then you use that public key to query it so that you can see how much you have and to receive it from others or to send it to others. And you could always be taxed on everything you do. Everything you do that could be taxed can be taxed very, very easily in this manner, because it could be tracked. Every single transaction could be tracked back to you. And even transactions of other people could be tracked back to you, because they could see that transaction, then they could look at theirs, and then they could see that your public key was on there as well. They could track that all the way back to you. So very, very easy. They could also make coins, destroy coins, inflation, anything they wanted at any time, instead of rather just printing money and then sending it to banks for the banks to distribute via loans, etc., which is an ugly process, to say the least. I'm sure not many dollars are lost in this process, as there's probably a lot of security around it. But either way, the Federal Reserve probably has no idea how much money is in circulation right now. How many US dollars? How many US dollars are in circulation right now? Nobody knows that. Not even the Federal Reserve. They could probably have an estimate. They'd be like, oh, it's probably like $1 trillion. But how much? They don't know. With blockchain, they would know exactly how many coins are in circulation, because every so many years, banks send the Federal Reserve a bunch of old notes, and then the Federal Reserve destroys all of those old notes. Then they replace those old notes with the newer, cooler beans looking ones. And so they don't really know how many they needed to destroy. They just received all these bills. So it's kind of a right now a little bit of a messy process for the Federal Reserve, and a Fed coin would eliminate that with a capital E. We'll check out CoinMarketCap here, and so we're way down in the market cap. We're at 386 billion, and this has been the show for a little while now. So it's been going to 380 billion, and then 440 billion, and then it's back to 380 billion. So this has been on here for a while. This is kind of, at this point, it's basically a pretty good trading mechanism. You just wait for the market cap to go all the way down. You go, okay, I'll buy now, and then you wait for it to go to 440 billion, and then you sell again. Of course, that's just not a guaranteed thing, but jokingly, it's borderline on the money. So the winner of the day, a 91st place coin, 91st, is RLC. And I've literally never heard of RLC. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have no idea what that coin does. Again, a new coin pops up on here all the time. Let's go to the most. Populous is way, way down. So I've definitely heard of Populous. Eternity's way down as well. So we got some definite losers of the day. So again, yeah, there's just so many coins now. It's hard to even tell. We got Rock coin. Hey, what should we name our coin, guys? Anybody got any good names? Rock? Let's go with Rock. That's the only one we got. Anybody else? No other suggestions. Okay, Rock it is. Rock. Let's see. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Burst coin, 223. That is a proof of capacity coin. I think the only proof of capacity coin. If you don't know it, if you're like, hey, MrSotko, what is a proof of capacity coin? I'm glad you really asked that question. It's based on the size of your hard drive. It takes a whole bunch of hard drive space, and the more space you have, the more you mine with it. So you can essentially just take tons and tons of terabyte hard drives, make an entire wall of them, and continuously hook them up to computers and run them. And technically, that's how you mine Burst coin. So Einsteinium, really like the name of that. Good old Einsteinium. What element number is Einsteinium? I don't know. Let's check another one. Let's go back a page. Let's find some really obscure ones here. So you got Medical Chain. I've heard of Medical Chain, actually. I think I seen that when it was in its ICO, believe it or not. And what is it at now? 15 cents? Not too bad, I guess. looks like it's lower than it was. Deep Onion. People are really interested in Deep Onion, and I'm not sure why. With a 27 million market cap, it's not really going anywhere. Extra Bytes, nothing too crazy. Unobtainium. Ooh, someone was clever with that one. How about unobtainium? We Trust token. No, apparently we do not. Guaranteed. Oh, what is this? Guaranteed Etherance token extra. Wow. This is exactly what we're talking about here, is that there's almost, at this point, there's almost too many coins. At the same time, I completely encourage people making their own coins. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I thank you all for the feedback once again yesterday on the mic volume. If you want to give more feedback, just let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed it again, and I will see you guys next time.